Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today's topic is a very important and a significant one for our world. In fact, this is the fabric of the universe, and the topic is called as the butterfly effect. I'm not referring to the movie The Butterfly Effect. I'm referring to the research paper published by Professor Edward Lorenz in 1963. He was a professor at MIT Meteorology Department, and he was trying to understand how to predict weather patterns before they actually occur. This was his area of research and expertise. So let's take a look, let's understand what was the theory and how we can apply in our everyday lives and in our businesses. So the butterfly effect was known in the paper or was described in the research paper as sensitive dependence on initial conditions. So Professor Edward Lorenz was studying what are the initial conditions or factors that determine eventual outcomes, and what are the interrelationships between the initial set of conditions and the factors that influence the initial set of conditions. And that was popularly called as the butterfly effect later on when he started to speak about his paper, and as a virtue, as a consequence of the butterfly effect that he published, new field of mathematics had come about later on, and that field of mathematics is popularly called as the chaos theory. So the paper that Professor Edward Lorenz published was titled Deterministic Non-Periodic Flow. That was the subject of the paper, and the core concept that came out was the butterfly effect. So why did Professor Edward Lorenz go into this field of study? Why did he publish this paper? Why? Because at that time in the 1960s, the general notion that prevailed was the past indicates the future with reference to weather studies, weather forecasts. So at that time, the thought process was that if there were similar set of conditions in the past which gave a certain outcome, then the future could also have similar outcomes in case those conditions still existed. However, Professor Edward Lorenz was skeptical with regards that kind of thinking in the 1960s. So he was challenging that thinking, and in order to research and understand better and come out with something a lot more effective and relevant, he published his paper. So what did he do, and what was the experiment that he conducted? So what he did was he used computers to come up with computer simulated scenarios of weather patterns. And while he did these computer simulations, he came about an insight, and the insight was that if one of the variables, for example, let's say one of the variables had a reading of 0.506127. If one of the factors was approximated to from 0.506127 to 0.506, that means if you omitted the last three digits, then in a period of 2 months, the weather scenarios that emerged were completely dissimilar. This is why he titled this observation as sensitive dependence on initial conditions. And the topic of his study was deterministic non-periodic flow. And this is the insight he gained out of the computer simulations that he conducted with regards weather patterns. So, he concluded that long-range forecast is not possible given the complexity that nature presents. There are so many variables at play, and each of those variables have so many factors at play, and each of those factors can pivot in a differential manner at any given point in time. Therefore, it is not possible to give a very high forecast accuracy in the long term. And that was the conclusion of his paper. And at that time, the journalists wrote, based on this paper and research, they said, what if a butterfly flap in the Amazon? What if the butterfly flapping in the Amazon forest, can it start a tornado in North of America? Now, these interdependencies which are subtle could be explored. It could be explored. Now, let's zoom out a little and let's understand this in the context of the universe. As you know, Big Bang is what created the universe, and universe is constantly expanding. Energy can only be converted, it cannot be created or destroyed. These are the principles. And in this ever expanding universe, which is 13.5 odd billion years, it has taken 1 billion years for the human brain to develop, which means nature works in very slow incremental steps over billions of years. And the human lifespans, which is about 70 to 85 years, is not enough time for one generation to completely understand all interdependencies and to understand all the factors that go into a particular outcome. Therefore, we are constantly learning. There is a lot to learn, and there's a lot to keep on observing and theorizing and deriving from those conceptual theories, so that the insights gained can lead to new fields of studies, new innovations, and new inventions. And that is what happened as a result of the butterfly effect. The mathematics modeling of the chaos theory came about, and because of the mathematical modeling using chaos theory, many things have been applied in the world today as we speak already. So the new branch of mathematics was born as a result of the butterfly effect paper published in 1963. Now, chaos theory, what it does is it deals with trying to predict the unpredictable behavior of all complex systems. That is the core of chaos theory's goal, using mathematical models to predict what is inherently unpredictable and complex, to predict the behavior. And NASA used chaos theory in 1978 to launch an international comet exploration to study the comet Giacobini-Zinner that was passing through, and NASA wanted to study the tail comet by launching an international explorer, a probe. And in order to do that, they had to define what is that particular point in time and how much fuel to use in order to fire the explorer probe to be able to reach the comet tail, collect the data, and then come back to Earth. So that is an excellent example of how one thing leads to another thing which was completely unexpected. So that's the field of research and science. Now let's look at life. In my view, the butterfly effect presents to us 4 insights and learnings. Number 1, small is significant. No matter how small, no matter the size, everything counts. Everything is of significance in nature. That is the reason why Singapore, despite its size, is globally renowned, is considered as a powerful nation. Similarly, Taiwan, despite its size, it presents a disproportionate value creation to the global economy. Therefore, size does not always matter, and size does not determine what is the value creation that is possible. That's as far as global economics is concerned. Now, let's look at our own lives in the pandemic. The key principle of overcoming the pandemic: everyone safe for me to be safe. That means we are infinitely interconnected and interdependent. Everybody's well-being is connected to my well-being. My well-being is connected to everybody's well-being. Therefore, the thinking is no longer individualistic. In order for us to overcome and transcend the pandemic, we have to modify the thinking and have a mental shift in our thinking so that the reality can shift. Individualistic thinking of trying to secure resources and gathering everything towards one person, one country is not going to work anymore. What will work is collaborative ecosystem thinking, where everybody is thinking of everybody's well-being and everybody is caring for the safety of everybody else, and in that process they are securing their own inherent well-being. Therefore, small is significant and small is extremely important. Make every single small step count by knowing that you count. Your actions count in the larger system. Number 2 insight is chaos is creative. The universe is all about chaos, and this is how the universe creates value. It creates things. It breaks constantly and creates things. And we have to learn to harness the power of creativity within a chaotic environment. Instead of allowing chaos to overwhelm us, we need to allow chaos to propel us towards creative intelligence, manifest new things, new innovations, new ways of living, new ways of thinking, and use our creative intelligence, which is already inherent in every human being as instilled by nature. Number 3, non-linear is not negligible. Things in the universe are non-linear and it is not negligible. Every single seed we sow matters. Every single tree we plant makes an impact. Every single life we uplift, save, makes an impact. Everything matters. Every positive action has a result. Every negative action has also a result, both non-linear. Therefore, we need to know that there are non-linear consequences of every single significant thing that we do. And insight number 4, revolution starts as a ripple. Revolution starts as a ripple. And this is what the butterfly effect teaches us. Things always start as a small ripple before they gather steam. So knowing this, we can start a positive ripple to uplift the environment, uplift ourselves, and think about 3 things that matter: people, planet, posterity. This is the only thing that matters today. This is the only thing that will matter tomorrow, and this should be the endeavor of our lifetime, because Nature takes time, whereas human beings cannot live forever, and therefore, with the time we have, we must do what it takes in order to secure our present and safeguard our future. And lastly, you can be that butterfly. You can be that agent of change. Be you, be aware, and take action positively, and make sure you make a difference in everything you do and everything you say. That is the butterfly effect. Thank you.